Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Command Combat Battle Reports. With me today is Troy.
Yo!
We have on the right side Poland, Lithuania versus and Spain versus Russians and Swedish. Sweden? Or is it yeah, Sweden. And
So meatballs and borscht.
exactly. Well, it looks like the Russians are starting by running up on this hill. Basically, what they've got over here is they're sort of behind a hill sort of area. So I think that the Russians are keeping most of their guys behind the hill and throwing up their artillery up there. While meanwhile, the Polish have their own little hill and a valley in between. It looks like they're going to just start marching forward with their infantry.
I'll call it right now, Jeff. I think whoever makes the best use of the terrain, since this is really kind of an interesting mix of terrain on one map, whoever makes the best use of the terrain today is going to win.
I'd say that's about right. I mean, the Russians are starting off with sort of an advantage over here with that tall hill, plus they're staying close to their allies, the Swedish. Oh, who looks like they're bringing over some heavy cavalry to sort of help them out. Should be interesting. Meanwhile, over here, now the Swedish seem to be more in a valley themselves, and they seem to be bringing all of their infantry over to help with the Russians, while meanwhile the Spanish, what are they doing? Oh, well, oh, you see some guys just sort of disappear there. That's some people are going to kind of go hidden. And Carbineers, I've been told is what their name is. So it looks like the Spanish are kind of splitting their forces, leaving some over to fight directly ahead of them against the Swedes, while the others are coming here to the center. So it looks like a lot of this stuff is going to happen over here.
And we have the first salvos of artillery coming down from the Russians, it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Polish. I mean, they just have to march across that big field and up that hill, or else they just get pounded by artillery, where the Russians have a little advantage on their artillery.
Yeah, if I'm the Poles here, I might decide to split my forces a little bit and try to minimize the casualties. They are returning some fire, though.
Yeah.
And honestly, at the moment anyways, the Russians' artillery doesn't seem to be quite hitting the range.
Now they seem to be overshooting, while the other ones are, well, they're hitting the hill. Yeah, it looks like they're just overshooting. It's like the Polish are walking a little too fast for them. Swedes, I'm not sure quite what they're doing. I thought they were going to come up here and hit the Polish, and then, oh, there we go. They're going to try to do something there. Well, meanwhile, the Spanish are bringing some of their, what do you call it, their artillery forward. And they've got some artillery fire going on too. This is kind of an interesting kind of strategy here.
Yeah, the Swedish, I don't know, is it just me or the Swedish don't seem to have a set game plan, if you will. I see them splitting things up. My concern here is looking at what the Swedish are doing, at least in the early stages, that they are not following the doctrine of forced concentration, and they're maybe breaking up their units a little too much.
I'd say that's exactly right. Look at that. They're just, it's like they're running it in front of them, like like Kevin Costner at the beginning of Dances with Wolves. Like, oh, you can't hit us! But oh, now they're hitting the winged hussars in the rear. That might actually be kind of a good move, but they're sacrificing their own cavalry.
Yeah.
They got, you know.
And I'm not a big fan of using cavalry in this way. I don't, they're not upon you. You don't want to just sacrifice them.
Yeah, and it looks like the Polish are doing sort of the same thing. They kind of rushed up ahead to try to take out their artillery. But the Russians, actually, it's kind of a smart move on the part of the Russians. It's sort of staying on the back of that hill instead of taking their skirmishers forward, sort of sitting back there so if anybody comes up close to that artillery, they can fire at them. Oh, although here they are coming up to take out this artillery. It might be good with the Swedish brought up behind them. They're not charging them, and that's about the slowest charge I've ever seen. And they're like, screw that. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to stay. Oh, no.
Ooh.
There we go. The Russians saw what was happening and ran up to protect their guns.
Yeah, they had the right momentum. They just didn't finish it. Now the opportunity appears to be lost.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of silenced the guns there, even if they didn't take them out.
Right. If nothing else, though, I'd be getting my guns out of there.
Yeah. What's rather amazing is that we'll call them the Kevin Costner Brigade, is still alive. I almost want to follow that Swedish brigade.
Here they are. They may actually. Yeah, they're crashing over the side of that unit.
Yeah, the Poles there.
And again, I'll be interested what kind of losses here they take on the cavalry unit.
Oh, it looks like they are retreating. No, actually, their morale isn't down. They just sort of got bored.
Disengaged.
Yeah, disengaged.
And now they put themselves again in jeopardy. See?
And here come the Spanish. It's like this whole other battle that's going on over here. We should actually take a look at that, but it's just kind of crazy. Because it's like everybody sort of decided to come over here. Let's see where the Spanish are going.
Well, this is kind of almost the definition of a pitched battle.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be, I mean, even though obviously as gamers you would like to think there's a unified strategy,
Yeah.
it really seems kind of haphazard.
But now the artillery is bringing out their shrapnel shots. They're just pouring into them. Oh, but they're, you know what? The angle is bad. Look, they can't hit them because they're hitting the ground.
Well, yeah, and again, I have to believe that the Poles didn't make use of the time they had with the guns silenced. I personally, I would have been pushing forward.
Yeah, the guns are silent. Go rushing up there. That would be the best way to do it. Ooh, looks like over here you got kind of a battle between some Russian. It's interesting. It seems that the Russians were trying to get up on this hill and create a line, but they got some of them that kind of went forward. And, it's sort of like the line is mostly there, but. Oh, and they're breaking up that charge. I mean, this was sort of a long charge of the Poles, and now they're up there and pretty exhausted. But the Spanish are coming. They've kind of abandoned their own fight. What's going on over here anyway? Kind of looks like they tromped over the Swedish.
You see some disorganized units. Other parts of what's going on here, it's kind of in general a granola cluster because you've got some pieces that aren't doing anything.
That's about right.
And others that are just running around like chickens.
Yeah. It looks like the Spanish have pretty much won this area. You just have, some artillery that's sort of lingering out here. The Spanish have pretty much taken this territory.
I would really be interested in understanding if we could actually talk to the gamer here why they took what was clearly a very good cavalry unit from the Swiss and have them basically go on the other side of the field.
Yeah. I think what they were trying to do maybe was they saw that the whole Polish unit was marching across the field here, and they would think, well, let's sweep up their flank. But then they broke them off and sent some that way, and then some.
But there wasn't, in my mind, there wasn't enough of a force to come around on the flank behind them like that to really turn the tide.
Yeah.
Harass them, delay them, maybe. But again, cavalries are not a unit I'm going to sacrifice for that kind of effort.
Well, I completely agree. I think it was a mistake, but I think that was the thinking behind it. The main problem, I think especially, is they split them up. If they had kept both their pieces of cavalry together, they might have been able to do something with them. They sent one way and the other way.
Yeah. Meanwhile, by doing that, though, they took a very important piece from the side of the main battle they were on with Spain.
Yeah.
And that cost them here.
Yeah, and you can see they pretty much have lost everything there. But while Spain cleans all this up, the Russians are cleaning all this up, so we're going to see a Russia versus Spain battle in a moment. Although, the Polish at this point, the best thing they can do is slow the Russians up, keep them from organizing. I think a lot of this also comes down to what you were saying at the beginning. Oh, here they're rushing up there to get themselves in a position. What you said at the beginning about whoever uses the terrain best, and I think the Russians really used their terrain, realized they had the advantage, and just got themselves set up. And it was really sort of written for the Polish not to win this. Their best move probably would have been to go over and help their ally crush the Swedes.
Well, and that's a very good point, because if they had done that, if they had gone over to help, well, not the Swedes, to help.
Help the Spanish against the Swedes.
Against the Swedes, it would have forced Russia almost certainly to have abandoned their high ground.
Yeah.
To go help the Swedes, because they could not have afforded to allow the Swedes to get annihilated and have both intact forces, the Spains and the Poles, come at them together.
Yeah.
So really, I think strategically that would have been probably a master stroke.
Here's something that's interesting. The tide is starting to turn into the favor of the Poles. They're starting to come around the Russian flank here. Probably not going to win it, but they might actually slow the Russians down long enough for the Spanish to get up here and get into a position. Oh, but the Russians here, they're rushing over there to, running right by this infantry to take out the artillery up here. Let's see if they're going to fall into the trap of the spikes here, though.
Well, it looks like at least some of their force will get past the spikes. Oh, they're making a little bit of a turn. Will it be enough?
Oh, yeah, they missed it. And here they go.
And the artillery is just going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Break against the wave there.
Finish off that artillery. Well, so yeah, meanwhile, now, okay, you already have the Spanish starting to come over, but you have the Poles who are putting up a heck of a fight over here. Oh, now the artillery is concentrating on them. But man, this is a good unit up here. What is this? Just regular line infantry. Well, they deserve a promotion. You can see the little tick. Oh, and they've taken out the Russian unit over here.
Wow.
You can see the tick over there, though. They gave them some veteran status, so that makes it good. It looks like they're going to go around and try to... What are they doing? Maybe get up to these trees or something?
Well, maybe get into the trees, a little bit of high ground there themselves.
Yeah. Or get them...
I was going to say, but they're getting too far away from the action. They're going to have to...
You know what would be probably a good move for them is get into position here and be in their rear while the Spanish come in from this direction. Now you have...
Let's do a little bit of the hammer and anvil.
Yeah. At the very least, what you have is the Russians have to concentrate some of their forces over here, not being able to put everything against the Spanish. I would probably hide my units inside those trees and force the Russians to come back over and deal with me and, you know, slow them down from being able... Because like I said, I really think this is a matter now of distracting them from the Spanish. But now you have the cavalry on this end. I mean, it is sort of a smart move. It keeps the Polish know they're losing, so they're just going to distract the Russians as long as they can. And the Russians know they can't get their cavalry over there, so yeah, this is actually... They might take a significant amount of the Russians out before they are out of here.
Well, at this point, from what I've witnessed with the Spanish force, I think it's pretty much game over for the Russians here. They may be able to extend this, but they'll continue to take attrition from their battles here with the Poles. Meanwhile, the Spanish, I think, pretty well ran roughshod over the Swedes and are therefore left with a pretty intact force.
You're probably right. I like this look though of all the Russians coming in. Wow, nice gray outfit.
Ah, dandy.
That's a dandy. Oh, I think they just had some friendly fire over here. By the way, I just well. Alright, so that's about it for the Poles, I think. So now, what we got here? Man, there isn't much left of the Russians. They're going to have to do as much damage with their artillery as possible before the Spanish get up there.
Yeah, look at the size of the remaining Spanish force at this time.
Yeah. Oh, and there's even some Poles over there. Look at that. Looks like they may have regrouped, maybe they're retreating units or something.
Well, I'll call it, Jeff. I'll go out there and just say this is not Russia's day. They may be able to make it a longer battle, but I don't think they're going to win this one.
You know, I might actually root for the Russians here. The reason being for what you said initially is the use of the terrain. If they use their terrain correctly with the hill and try to, you know, get as much damage in as possible. Oh, although the firing of their artillery was horrible. Yeah, you're probably right. If their artillery can hit, I'd say that the Russians have a good chance. But look at that firing.
Does the Spanish still have any cavalry?
I don't think so. Oh, that went right into him, but it somehow missed. Let's look at this here. There's this, but I think it's the command. Yeah, that's the general's bodyguard. So they have some artillery to fire back. But I don't believe... Oh, there we go. A tiny regimental horse remains.
Well, keep them in store. Again, the way I'm seeing it play out is, at the right moment, bring that cavalry around for a flanking maneuver.
Yeah.
once they're fully engaged with the Spanish here on the front, bring that cavalry around and bring mayhem from the back.
Did you see that artillery shot? Now, if I'm the Russian commander, I'm really getting kicked right about now. It just bounced perfectly over them. But I do like the wisdom of the Polish. They're like, yeah, you guys go first. Oh, yeah, okay, one group firing, covering while the other is moving forward. I think it's a pretty smart move for the Spanish. But now they're not going in strength. They're sort of, well, like one is firing, then moving, and the other one's moving up and firing. But it might kind of break them up. That might actually be a bad move for the Spanish. There goes the skirmishers of the Russians. Moving them in. Oh! Throwing the grenades!
Oh, that was a good salvo.
Oh!
Well, not as much damage as I thought there.
Yeah, I think they were just short. I think the skirmishers were just starting to run a little bit. Oh! Grenadiers are taking some hits. See, I think this is a really good position for the Russians. You've got the skirmishers down here, and in the valley area, you've got the artillery up above, and then you have a little bit of infantry down here to kind of get on the flank. Oh, and it looks like they got some people sneaking around over here, or some cavalry. That's a pretty good move on the part of the Russians.
Good tactical move there. I think it caught him by surprise.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see it coming. And you have their artillery now is lobbing in, not lobbing in, but...
Because their artillery found the range, though.
Yeah, well, that's true. The thing is, though, they're shooting shrapnel over there. Big shots, so... And so that Spanish infantry is probably about gone. Now you got these guys are line infantry coming in to wrap it up. And so the Poles come to the rescue, the remaining Polish unit. Let's see if they can actually help the Spanish.
Well, I'm telling you, now would be, in my opinion, now would be about the time to bring that cavalry that the Spanish have and swing that around to come at the flank of the skirmishers there.
Well, they have grenadiers at least. Where's their cavalry? Did he get killed off or somewhere else?
I think it was way off to the side.
Was off, but it was way over there.
Who would have taken them out?
Well, at some point, maybe when we were looking this direction, we might have come into the right. Oh wait, here we go. No, they came in to help against this flank attack of the Russian cavalry. It looks like it worked because the Russian cavalry is starting to pull out. So that was okay.
Rather than trading pot shots with the skirmishers, I think I bring my cavalry up and try to slap that skirmishing unit.
Well, it looks like the Polish are doing that. Oh, looks like they're gonna run up there and stop. Oh, there we go. Now, yeah, the cavalry scared them away. Oh, now the Poles are gonna go up and try to take out those. You know, that artillery is just such bad shots, but I think one of the reasons is they didn't quite get to the top of that hill. They needed to be a little bit more forward because they're just shooting above them.
Yeah. Good lesson to be learned by anyone watching this. You know, it's one thing to try and position your artillery in a way that hopefully protects them, but you're not going to do a lot of good if you maneuver them out of good line of sight.
That's exactly right. You want to be far enough ahead. Look at that. They're doing a little damage, but just not enough. Now infantry is probably going to take them out. Oh, looks like they have some grenadiers of their own. Oh no, that's the howitzer in the back. Oh, well, they're scaring away the cavalry. But I think it's pretty well done for at least this front artillery.
Horses don't like howitzers.
Oh, so the general staff of the Polish are coming up to take out the howitzers. And here they're taking them out. Well, that about does it here. So the Russians have lost, and so have the Swedish. But thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch us on Facebook and all that. Happy gaming, everyone!